Hey, here we go. It's 8 o'clock. I'm gonna switch us over and then hand it over to Jason.
Okay.
And we're on.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're running a game of Hypertellurians, game published by Motocross Machinations. Did I say that right, Frank?
Yes, machinations, whatever. Yeah. Look, it's shiny. It's like woo.
Oh, we got the new edition.
Yeah,
I
the
know,
new
right?
edition has
And papers and everything.
we are
Enough.
joined
Nice.
by Johan and Pelle, along with Frank, the author of the game. I'm Jason, and I will be running this actually for the first time. So this will be quite an interesting experience. We have all handed over our picked characters, and we are ready to go with that. As you know, you are Hypertellurians, gifted adventurers who roam the breadth and width of the ultracosm. You're following your own goals, whether those be adventure, vengeance, wealth, knowledge, absolution, or whatnot. It is a science fantasy game with a sort of a retro theme, and it is extremely interesting and imaginative, I should say. It's a lot of fun to play. Hopefully, we can both experience that and get that across to anyone who happens to be watching in the studio audience.
Canned laughter.
Oh no, that's right. I forgot to add a canned laughter track.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
should definitely
Maybe in
add that
post.
later.
So,
Yeah.
the adventure I am going to be running for you tonight is called Pilgrimage to Golana, or A Pilgrimage to Golana. And I will give you a little bit of a canned introduction that I wrote earlier this evening. And at that point, then I'd like you to introduce yourselves so that anyone who is watching and not immediately a part of this can get a sense of who we are. And actually, before we do that, why don't we just get a brief introduction of who we all are in the real world as opposed to our characters? Um, I'll just look at the screen and work my way up. Pelle, who are you? What are you here for?
I'm Pelle Nilsson. I guess I'm here because I wrote a game called Mörk Borg. That's why I'm here. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and I forgot the charger to my computer, and the battery is almost gone. So I go and get the charger.
Okay.
Do that while.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Better now than later. All right. Johan, how about you?
Yeah, so I'm Johan Nohr, and I am the co-creator of Mörk Boy. So I'm the one who makes all the funny art and the graphic design for the game.
Like this.
And also, yeah, like that T-shirt, that beautiful T-shirt.
Nice.
So this will be super fun.
I hope so. Yeah, it's a great looking game. I've gotten to play it. I had a lot of fun, and I have not yet seen a physical copy though, because it's pretty much sold out here in Berlin. I'll have to see about trying to secure a copy somewhere. My
Hopefully
game
you'll manage.
are still waiting for copies. So, Frank.
Oh yeah. So I'm Frank. I'm the creator of Hypertellurians and all of the other gonzo stuff that Motocross Machinations puts out. And yeah, we're here at Virtual Expo, and today we launched this, and we're very happy. And maybe next week I can sleep a little. So
Cool.
we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
You won't.
Yeah, I'm Jason. I am a line developer for Chaosium's RuneQuest and Lords of the Middle Sea and basic role playing. And I just finished a long stint as the line developer for Modiphius's Conan, Adventures in an Age Undreamed of. And I like to do role playing games in my spare time. So that's what we're here for tonight. All right. So the first thing I will tell you is, or remind our studio audience that I keep calling them the studio audience, our viewers, that in Hypertellurians, of course, you're exploring this magnificent ultracosm, all of these various worlds and planes of existence and realities, and seeking whatever goals you're looking for. And one of the primary currencies in the game, the sort of gaming meta currency, is wonder. And the cool thing about wonder, it's also you're awarded it when you encounter things that are really cool or magnificent or awe-inspiring, and you spend it to do cooler things. And you've got a lot of little abilities that you can use to spend your wonder on that make you overcome limitations or be especially cool while adventuring. And the more wonder you spend, you get to advance your characters in certain ways, which is kind of cool. I don't think we will get to the point where we're spending wonder during, like taking it advanced during this session, because there's a lot of sitting around and rummaging through the rule books and going like, oh, what about this? What about this? And for people watching at home, that could be kind of dreadfully dull. So we'll just play a few for a while, and then we can maybe at the end of it decide how we can spend our wonder. Now, I could not find something in the rules, but I would like to ask Frank about this. And I'm going to occasionally lean on Frank.
In the revised edition, there's something missing. That's not a good start.
Question I have. Do games begin with wonder, or do you start with zero wonder?
It's up to you. Like most things, it's up to you. If I do short one shots, I often start with some wonder, so people can throw in some wondrous actions off the bat. But it's completely up to you.
That is exactly what I figured, and so I would like to award you guys. You begin with 4 wonder that you have sort of in your bank based on the things you've seen and done. So you will be able to do some stuff, but not a lot of stuff, and you should be able to earn some wonder very quickly.
So only one of us, only one of us needs to keep track of it, unless you wanna.
Yeah, there's a group pool, so if one of you could keep track of that and maybe note it.
If I was more organized, I would have put it on the overlay here. But
all right. But I think maybe our best bet is just use it right away, so we get rid of it.
Hang on. Let's get the introduction first, and then use it.
Okay. So let us get started. All of you are pilgrims along a sacred and mystic journey called the Way of Golana, or the Golana Way. It is occasionally a metaphysical journey that winds its way through the ultracosm. It is something like the Camino, or a spiritual pilgrimage, or maybe a pilgrimage for enlightenment or healing. Back in the ancient times, this was the route of kings and emperors who would appeal to the etheric gods of old and beg for them to be recognized as the rightful rulers of their cosms. Many people also took this path to seek enlightenment or to seek healing from perhaps great wounds they carried, either emotional or even physical. That was a long, long time ago. The route has eroded over time. It has now become treacherous. It passes through some places that are not that favorable, and some that are actually dangerous. And so pilgrims along this route, they used to be welcomed with hospitality and greeted warmly, and now it's a mix. Sometimes they are shunned, sometimes they are greeted, as if figures out of myth or history have come to life, or sometimes they find themselves preyed upon by opportunists and ne'er-do-wells. So you are each on this spiritual voyage, this pilgrimage to this place called the Golana, or the passage is the Golana Way. The end result is the Gardens of Light, Golana. So I would like to ask you to introduce yourselves at this time.
Right.
Who do you want to
Start.
start?
Anyone?
Maybe I can. Should I start again?
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll just follow in order.
I'm Daumal, some kind of primordial alien, and I'm on a spiritual journey here because I somehow want to understand my faith or my forefathers and fulfill my destiny and become like some kind of godlike being. And I know this creature, this godlike being, sleeps within myself somehow, and I think the Golana place is the answer. And why not bring some help along the way? I don't care about them too much, but yeah.
All right.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Great. And I am Shatuk, or really Shatuk of the Scourged Horizon, as my enemies would call me. I am a former warlord, or kind of a mercenary for royalty, really, who like the last answer to any kind of trouble. And I failed one of my many missions back in the day, and so I was pretty much exiled. And I'm now looking for a new mission or a new purpose in life. So I think, maybe I should go to Golana to just find something more to fight for or live for, and someone to fight for.
Okay. Cool. And Frank.
Yeah.
And I am playing Sonnabend tonight, an occult totalitarian femme fatale. And fourth, I know you're going to have to suspend disbelief quite a lot in this, but when you hear me talk or see me, just imagine something completely different. But there's four things you need to know about Sonnabend. Most importantly, she's wearing a very sleek and very sexy uniform, including a riding crop. Secondly, she's way into forbidden knowledge, which is why she's on this journey, because all of the occult entities that are trying to encroach upon this way are going to try and stalk us. And in fact, I'm not interested in the destination. I'm interested in the encounters along the way and what we can gain from them. And fourthly, I'm very clearly the leader of this group, and I just tolerate these people because I need the muscle to come along, frankly. And then, I also have an allergy to like really common foods, but let's not get into that.
All right.
No, you're not gonna encounter any of those here.
There won't be
I
any
assure you.
foods. No.
All right.
Don't worry.
Yeah, although I
No.
used to have a saying that if you ever give yourself a weakness like, lactose intolerance, I could almost guarantee that there would be cheese in the adventure. But
There better be. I mean, that's the point of these weaknesses, isn't it?
all right. So I guess a question I would have then is, Sonnabend has declared herself the leader of this pilgrimage.
Only de facto,
De facto.
Yeah,
All right.
I mean, look at them. It's like it's a hunk of muscle and some alien-esque thing who doesn't really care about anything either. So,
Do you know who I am?
Yeah.
Haven't you heard of me? The cries of my what I have done.
I think so.
Yeah. You can be the leader if you want to. It's okay.
I'm born royalty. This is my destiny. But
Yeah.
I mean, ex-destiny, I hear, but
I don't know what you've heard.
not much.
Just enough.
Okay. Well, then, and how did you meet each other? Have you known each other long? Did you meet on this pilgrimage, or did you know each other beforehand?
I mean, I have an
You have
idea.
an idea there.
Well, I was thinking that I walked into a tavern and I went, "You and you." That would be.
But perhaps they remember it differently.
Yeah, that's how I remember it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
As far as I remember, I was heading to Golana, and you were as well. Like we didn't know each other, and I pretty much hired you in a way to be just to talk to, just to have someone to chit chat with. And this weird fellow here, I don't know what that is.
Yeah. Actually, my view of it is that I've been at that tavern for a couple of weeks, looking for the right guys to help me to get to Golana. And as far as I remember, I heard you talking about this place, and I asked you if you could take me there, and you said, "Okay, let's go there." That's my memory of it.
I think we all have pretty much the same memory then. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
barring
remember the
some
last part,
small bureaucratic differences.
Exactly.
It's practically the same story.
but it's generally
Yeah.
the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, along the way, then, I would say that this has been going on. You've been on the road, or rather, on the various path, for quite a while. It could be months. Like those on the Camino, basically, the voyage begins wherever you leave from. There is no official starting place. It is infinite number of starting points, all converging upon this one spot. Um, Along the way, you have fought battles, you have witnessed amazing things, you have had some daring escapes and some crazy run ins with some physical challenge. There have been mysteries that needed to be solved for you to advance, and you have suffered just the sheer physical torment of trying to push on, crossing deserts, crossing mountain ranges, sailing across seas, flying through the ether. All manner of travel has gotten you to where you are now. And so perhaps this has formed a bond between you, or you are beginning to wear on each other's nerves, or both.
Both, I'd say.
Yeah, at this point,
Definitely.
you have reached the foothills of Varro, and you realize that you are very close to the end of this epic journey. This place, the foothills of Varro, is a misty, shrouded, mountainous area with a lot of long channels. There is so much fog and cloud you can barely see up the walls of these steep channels that just cut through and double back and forth. And the path is fairly clearly marked. Occasionally, you have to double back now and again to find your way. But otherwise, it's just straight ahead. Ice covers the tops of these um, little ridges and mountains, and you also can, there see little bits of snow on the ground. Your breath is steaming as you go. Um, you are not far from this destination, the Gardens of Light, where heaven is said to touch the earth. Now you have a guide, indeed. It is a man called Brother Sogol. He is a member of the Remedian Order. It's an ascetic brotherhood who are sworn to do violence to no living thing. He wears a scaled robe that is ochre colored. His eyes are glow kind of yellow. His hair is really long and sort of matted. Um, and he has no arms. This is part of their sacred tradition that they will never take up arms or strike another living being in violence. And so he actually has had his arms temporarily removed while he pursues this mystic enlightenment. Now, of course, he's not completely incapacitated because he has powerful telekinetic abilities that enable him to eat things up and, pick things up and eat them. And every so often, you can almost see the ghostly outlines of his original physical arms as he manipulates items, and he seems to get along fine. He
Every once in a while, you see Zonarban sort of jump back jerkily as he levitates some food up.
Yeah.
What are we paying him? Like, what's the deal with him?
His order is this is part of their sacred trust that they guide people along this
Nice.
the way
Okay.
for their own reasons. What's that?
There's no such thing. There's no such thing as a free lunch here. I don't trust this guy. But okay.
Yes. Well, you do notice that he has quite a few scars, and even his the arms that appear, these sort of glowing, faint arms, actually seem to have a number of scars, and one finger looks like it had been cut off at a certain point. And he occasionally carries himself, and you would know this, Shattuck. He's got the bearing of a killer, or at least a former killer.
Right.
Like his instincts are very sharp. He is, the way he steps, but he has a certain humility to him that is not necessarily something that a warrior might have.
I'm going to sort of lean in conspiratorially to Daumal and whisper, I don't know, if I were to manifest ghost arms, I wouldn't choose like scarred and broken ghost arms. I'd have beautiful, fresh off the loading dock arms.
Yeah.
Weirdo.
Yeah. I don't understand it either. It's very odd. Yeah.
Also,
During our travels, have we noticed like how he behaves in combat or in fights, like how he moves, like his reflexes?
He always stands back. He dodges, and basically he frequently, occasionally, he'll even drop to his knees and sort of assume a very pacifistic, raise his chin as if he's willing to accept any attack that comes his way.
Wow, frustrating.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, maybe.
I think.
What's this?
I think Shattuck has grown increasingly annoyed with him because he promised to guide us there, and if he just keeps on accepting his defeat all the time, such as this, it's not acceptable. But I have mostly kept it to myself for now.
All right.
And also, we're getting close to our destination now, but I must say, Shattuck, why again did you convince us that we had to do this on foot and couldn't do this on some sort of automaton steed or something suitable of our status?
It's part of the journey. What do you expect? It isn't supposed to be a walk in the park.
And,
or is it too much for you? Should I carry you, Your Highness?
Yes, please. In fact, that would be great. Why didn't you offer that sooner? Can't get the staff.
That's a joke.
Okay, I would like each of you to make a mind roll for me, and this would be add the modifier for your mind ability.
Now, I have a quick question that because I'm an expert in forgotten gods and stuff. So if this is in any way related to forgotten gods, do I get advantage on my roll?
Yes. Well, I'll describe the environment and tell you what you see, and then let me know if you make a success, and I'll give you some more information. So yes, you can make advantage on this roll.
Nice. Well,
you made this adventure, Frank.
I didn't. I know why. This is all Jason. I have no idea what's going on here.
I wrote it this afternoon. It's fresh.
Okay. Well, I got a 21.
What's that?
Wow.
21.
Brilliant. All right.
I rolled 19.
Absolutely great.
I got a 4.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so you are heading down this sort of narrow ravine, and on either side, you notice first a few of them, these sort of statues. They are heavily worn by time and weather, and covered with corrosion and probably no small amount of bird crap. But they are they look like they were originally some kind of insect-like angels, angelic beings with what look like insect heads, and their wings are insectile. And they're broken pieces. Some of them have been completely shoved over. And yes, Sonnabend, you do notice that these are some of the ancient representations of the etheric gods that sort of bless this way. And you can sense very clearly that you are in the home stretch, so to speak.
Nice.
Yeah, and you remember there was something about the unseen gate near here, and that was supposed to be the final threshold by which you could find your way through to the legend has it, the lore, to the Garden of Light.
Now, what the heck? Since it's quite a short session, so I have a power called Know Things, which once per session allows me to ask you a question that you have to answer with enough detail to make it worthwhile, kind of thing. So yeah, how does one find this unseen gate again? It's not by sight, I can tell you that much.
Yes, there is apparently an emissary at the gate who will challenge you with
Swallow-based questions.
yeah, something like that. And so now
Okay.
Dalmal, you, however, rather than you obsessively looking at these statues and trying to decipher all of the cryptic markings on them, you recognize that up ahead looks like the sign of some sort of a camp site. And as you round a corner, you see you smell the smell of wood smoke in the air, and you see a group of four fairly rough-looking fellows step forward. They are dressed all in a motley array of patchwork armor, festooned with what look like religious verses and scripture hanging upon them, and they are all carrying weapons that, though rusty and decorated with various bits of ribbon and feather, they look still quite a bit deadly. And one of them approaches. He's chewing on what looks like a large piece of beef jerky or some sort of dried meat, and then he spits it out, picks at his picks a piece out of his teeth, and he says, "Ho there, travelers!" And I would say, Dalmal, you recognized you saw these guys, so you can either warn the others or ready yourself for anything. You are forewarned that they exist.
Yeah, I tell Shatuk and Sonabent that
I'm looking at some statues here. This is important. You deal with it. You deal with it.
Feet.
I think
No,
I saw a camp up there, and I think they have seen us. And I guess they are coming here. So
this guy is actually talking to you right now, right?
what do you say?
This guy is he's actually like speaking to you at the moment, right? Or he's
Yeah,
like, standing next to you. Or,
Yeah.
He's like, okay.
Yeah, he's standing there going like, "I'm right here."
It's
I mean,
next to me. I didn't get that. Yeah. Okay. So guys, have you seen this? I noticed the camp here, and there's a guy talking to me. So
Yeah, and
I have this.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
I have this staff in my hand
Mm-hmm.
with some strange, ornamentics on it, and I hold it a little harder, and I make some noise towards Shatuk and Sonab, and like stop looking at those statues. Come here. Yeah.
All right. And then at this point, that guy yells, "Ho, travelers!" basically. And he,
I think we approach if we have the time to before they do anything drastic.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like, I approach Duamal, and if I see these guys, I will like. So who do we have here?
I'm going to hang back a little
Try my
bit.
best. to
okay.
intimidate.
Are you asking the men approaching?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. The brother Sogol, he turns to you very quietly and he says, "They are those who have fallen from the way, and they prey upon others now." And then he very carefully sort of kneels and bows his head and begins a ritual prayer at this point. And these others, they come forward and they say, "We're, as you say, gentlemen of the road." And they sort of exchange some laughs. One of them, he's holding sort of what looks like a crazy hand-cranked crossbow, and the others have blades, and one of them is lugging a very large halberd, sort of dragging it behind so it clatters on the ground as it goes. He's clearly, it's a little bit probably too heavy for him, but he finally hefts it up and gets it onto his shoulders.
How healthy do they look? Like, are they alive or?
They do not look very well fed or healthy at all. Their skin is terrible. They ungroomed, messy, dirty. You can even smell them as you approach.
Right. That's close enough for all of you. We don't want any trouble, but if you're looking for trouble, then we are right here. And I'll just tell them to drop your arms right this instant.
All right. They look at each other, and then they look at you, and they said, well met. We are indeed looking for trouble. And one of them, he raises his crossbow and points it at you.
It feels like my study of the statues is being interrupted by this hubbub here, and this is super annoying. I would like to spend 2 of the party's wonder points on a cold shot to just grab my ray emitter and which is like a retro-futuristic pistol type thing.
Sure.
And just shoot his crossbow either out of his hand or to smithereens, whichever the dice play along with.
All right. Does everyone else agree that Frank might
go
borrow?
ahead.
Go ahead.
Because if it works, it'll look cool and might have earned some wonder. I don't know.
Use the rule of cool.
Okay, spin. All right then. Unfortunately, now I have to actually hit. So I can't see any way I could get a bonus on this, sadly. Sorry, advantage on this. So we'll just see. I've got a +1, and I rolled.
Don't shoot me.
So I get a 12.
All right, that is actually a hit.
Nice.
Wow.
Yes. Their defense is only 10, so.
For what it's worth, my ray emitter is improved and does brutal and destructive damage.
All right. Well, did you were targeting the actual weapon itself, right?
Or his hand, which that rough area. I just
tell me which. Tell me which.
I'll go for the hand. Yeah.
All right. So then, if you're ruling brutal damage for that, then you would roll your damage twice to pick the best of both.
Let's see.
One.
That's 6 then.
All right. Now, here's a question for you, Frank. Do you add your agility bonus to things like a ranged attack?
No, unless you have a power that allows you to do stuff. In general, the only maths you do is your modifier onto the roll.
Okay, and you did how much damage?
6.
All right. Well, he has a little bit of armor, but you managed to do a frightening amount of damage.
Oh, I should say my ray emitter is magic as well, so unless his armor's magic, that's just going to blow his little backward mind.
Well, then, in fact, yes, you fire and leave a gigantic... you hit his weapon, it shatters, pieces of it rain to the ground, and he falls to the ground, riddled with shrapnel from his crossbow. And he gurgles, blood spurts from him in probably half a dozen spots.
Some of us are studying.
Wow. I think the entire scene kind of goes quiet for a second, and we just look back at Sonaben in disbelief, and then back to this guy, whatever he's doing on the floor. And then back to them, I guess, just looking at them and like, well, you found trouble now. You want more?
All right. I think make a mind check for me with advantage. Basically, you are, or it might be your might, not might. The ability is
Brawn.
Yeah, brawn. Make a.
You know what? It doesn't matter. I rolled a 2, so my dice hate me.
Well, if you're
No. If it was with advantage, you get to roll twice and take the best.
Oh, it's a 2, right? Cool.
Yeah.
So a 10 then plus my brawn. That's 2. No, 12. in total.
I rolled 15 minus 1, that's 14.
Okay, so basically, with the show of your, the fact that you've got a demonic
Laser
spike
pistol.
armor, a crazy looking
And,
shield with a demon face on it, and a guy has just blown their leader apart in a spectacularly bloody fashion. They all look at each other, exchange silent words, and then yell and run like hell, just like scrambling past the statues, trying to get as far away from you as possible. All right. They are all of them, kind of stunned. That was a spectacularly useful display of bloody violence. So,
Don't
yes, you.
don't tell anyone. I tell my party members, but the secret is to bind a demon inside the weapon.
And
you can. No, you can see Shattuck standing there, like trying his best to look intimidating. And once they have run away, he kind of slumps down into this, almost on his knees, and just panting like he was super scared the whole time.
All right.
So let's get back to studying the statues. You say?
Do you know what? Actually, they're pretty boring, and a lot of it has worn off. So perhaps we should actually head towards the unseen gate. Someone will challenge us there. I hope that wasn't these people.
Brother Sogol, what can you tell me about the unseen gate? Where do we find it?
He says...
Where is Brother Sogol, by the way?
Yeah.
Still on the ground.
I haven't seen him for a couple of minutes. Where is he?
He got up. He wandered over and said a prayer over the body of the increasingly bloody bandit. And then, you saw just the faint wisp of his ghostly hand reach out and close the man's eyes. And then he stands and he says, soon, very soon, should be around this corner. And so then he... would you generally let him lead, or do you generally walk ahead of him?
I mean, he's our guide, so I imagine...
He can go first.
He's the guy.
All right.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Zonan will step very carefully over the bloody puddles of that bandit.
right. And,
Don't want to get blood on the boots.
okay. Now, I am not going to give you any wonder for a spectacularly bloody execution of a bandit, but the weird statues and the sort of things when you recognize that these are like the actual manifest or the physical, I guess, the portrayals of the etheric gods, it's kind of awe-inspiring. They're easily twice a human in height, and the alien beauty of the thing. So I'm going to give you, let's say, 3 points of wonder. So whoever our wonder archivist is may mark that down.
So
That's Frank, I guess.
5 unspent at the moment.
All right. So as you go a little while longer, you find this trail where basically it then sort of coincides with a creek or a stream, and very obviously there's a woman standing in the stream. She's wearing this long, sort of flowing red robe. She's very unassuming looking. She has short brownish hair. And the weird thing about her robes are they almost look like sections of them are almost kite-like. And they seem to catch the wind and blow, but there's very little wind in this area. The mist still hangs. And she basically looks expectantly at you. She's probably up to midway up her calves in the water. And she...
Just turning to Daumal, do you think that is the expected emissary who will test us?
Yeah, I really think so.
Okay, then, Shattuck, you go talk to her. You'll... I don't know.
I'm already there. I'm already like pushed to the side.
Yes.
I'm like...
you look like a normal human. You go and talk to her.
With my like spikes and demon shield. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, underneath that.
Unless she addresses me first, I will address her. So I don't know what she does when I
All
approach.
right.
But
You approach, and Dalmal, brother Sogol, he says to you, "This is the fire sybil. She is the guardian of the door. She will determine whether or not he is allowed to pass." And she, the woman, she speaks to you. Her voice is very calm, and she says, "What set you on this path, pilgrim?"
I look behind me to the other guys, and then I look back at her, and
So, cheer you on.
yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, come on, and I say,
You've got
I am
this.
Shattuck of the scorched horizons. Surely you have heard of me. I've come here in search of a purpose in life, something worthy fighting for. How about you? What are you doing
He
here?
says, "What set you upon this path? I do not ask what you seek." What?
Well,
Oh no, he looks
the
flustered.
the reason for my journey is mine. It's none of your business, really, is it? Why do you
And
ask?
she nods. It is my business.
I have history
Okay.
that I need redemption for something that I have done or not done, really.
All right. As she's speaking to you, you realize that she is looking into your mind. You're feeling this sort of
Fuck, I
probe
hate that.
where she's sensing you. You can try to block her, or you can try to
Right.
let her in. You would need to make a mind roll for this.
I'm actually gonna let her just see, yeah, if I can understand her better then in a way.
All
I
right.
guess.
So as you are talking to her just a little bit, you notice that the like the sort of mist that hangs over this valley, sort of phantasmal forms, sort of manifest around you and swirl, and you begin to hear voices and shouts and the crash of armies, and you are taken back briefly
Oh,
to the battle that you failed in.
oh no.
One and
Oh no.
probably the instigator for why you find yourself seeking, something,
Yeah.
something that sets
Yeah.
you on the path. I would like you to make a roll of your choice. It would be mind or brawn or agility, depending on how you react to these sort of phantasmal figures swirling around.
Definitely mind.
Yeah,
Definitely mind, because
yes.
my weakness is PTSD as well. So this is extremely
Okay, so then you would be
traumatizing for me.
rolling at a disadvantage. Roll twice and take the worst of
Right.
the two. Thank you for bringing that up.
A natural one.
Oh my God! So yes, you are. You find yourself like it's not my fault. Doing a lot of this
No.
sort of jerking around and shouting, and there's a certain point where you
Yeah, like
yeah, you're screaming, and the dying are all reaching out to you, and you take a lot of mind damage. And
oh
since you
god.
fumbled
Give me
that,
your worst.
you're going to take 6 points of mind damage. Now, your mind affinity is
I
subtracted
got
from
armor.
that. What's that?
I got armor. No,
Okay. Well,
no,
this is
I don't
mind
know.
damage. So
So how does that work? How much
basically, it
health?
means that your mind pool is reduced by that much.
Oh,
So, well,
right.
if you
Cool.
have an
Cool.
affinity in mind, that comes off the damage, and then you just write
Okay.
the
Cool.
damage
No, I
in
don't.
the mind bit, and if that ever equals your score, we roll on the trauma table,
Yeah.
which is when things get fun.
Okay. Cool.
All right. And,
Yeah. No.
okay. And in the middle of this, then she places her hand on your shoulder and she says, "It's you may proceed." And she gestures down the stream.
Thank you. Like whimper.
Okay. And then you wander down.
I scuffle along. I kind of run in a way.
Okay.
And
I
I
sort of
forget my shield, and I go back and pick it up. I'm like,
mutter to myself, oh, it's good when people get in touch with their feelings, but come on, in such a public display, how does that reflect on me? I hired him.
Okay.
Hang on, I hired you.
She looks at the other two of you, where Shattuck is still just splashing through the stream down, going around a corner. What next?
Listen, Damal, let me, if you don't mind. I've got this.
Yeah. I have this power called spore communication. And how does I can read her mind or feel
You
stuff like that?
basically
And or manipulate her with that as well?
it's more reading and communicating. You basically create an empathic link by flooding the area with this sort of microspores that connect you.
They're not a common food, right?
No.
Good. Oh, area filled with spores, mushroom spores.
Yeah, you might
One
actually.
of them falls over, face blowing up.
Yeah.
Anyone got an insulin shot?
I'll let you decide whether that affects you or not. But yeah, you wouldn't be able to, let's say, manipulate her, but you can definitely communicate with her at a intuitive level.
Yeah. I try to use that power.
All right.
Yeah.
So that takes one action. You cross off a brawn point, basically, like reduce your brawn pool by that much.
Unless you have a brawn affinity.
Yes. Do you
Yes.
have? Oh, if you've got a brawn affinity, you are fine. You do not.
I do not have. So if I have 10 in brawn, I reduce it to 9.
Correct.
Not quite. I mean, the score doesn't actually change. You just
No.
write one in the damage.
Yeah.
Okay. But then if I have a -1 modifier, I now have -2 modifier.
No, your modifiers are fine. It's
so the score always stays the same.
yeah.
In a very early edition, we had that, but it just ended up everything just took longer and longer and longer as people had smaller chances to roll. So got rid of that.
I could see that would be pretty painful.
Yeah.
So you can communicate though. With her. So you step forward. Are you going to do it, or who's talking first, basically?
I was gonna, but Dalmal is doing the spore thing, so I'm going like, wait a minute.
Well, I mean, yeah. Do you want to still step up, or do you want Dalmal to do it?
Yeah, I'll step up. After all, the world does revolve around me.
All right.
This is my power. Sorry, this is not me. This is my character's power. Favored.
Oh yeah, absolutely, of course.
Because I'm favored and I am the center of this story. Sorry, Zonam is the center of this story. I'm just going to step up and assume that this is all going to be just hand waved. So can I step through or what?
Yeah, she looks at you and she says, "I have been waiting for you."
Naturally.
And then she says, "What set you on this path?"
Well, actually, it was my left boot first, and
humor.
For me, the path is the destination. But there have been some highlights, like the etheric lords, and but they're so washed away that those signs and stuff. And honestly, I wished to have discovered some more of these secrets along the way.
So
more.
While Sonavund is talking to the woman, Dalmal, you get a sense that she is very, very patient and very focused on trying to accommodate her meandering conversation there. And then, though, I will ask Sonavund, at a certain point in the conversation, you can basically test yourself. Like you begin seeing this sort of flashbacks of things that you encountered on the way, and this vagueness of what's ahead. But which attribute would you like to sort of test for this?
I think it would have to be my mind, because it's all about the knowledge. I mean, I've got this big grimoire, of which I've been annotating along the journey, but it's still only half decoded. So yeah, mind.
All right then, you make your roll.
Since the world does revolve around me, do I get any advantage?
Sure, I think yes, absolutely, because
but it doesn't.
You're very generous. I appreciate it.
I like players to succeed, and So,
okay, well that's good because my first roll is a 5.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you.
10. 10 is the best I can do, even with advantage.
As a matter of fact, 10 is not a success, I am afraid. So, but it is not a fumble. So you will take. Oh my God! I just rolled another 6. So you will actually take that much in mind damage minus any affinity.
No
You can take it.
affinity.
It's nothing. I did the same. So
All right, but
Yeah.
you find yourself suddenly struck with doubt, and like you're wondering, what am I doing here? What?
And worse, I find myself having actually waded into the river
Yes,
and knelt in it.
yes.
Now my boots are wet.
Your skin tight suit is now sort of ballooning up with a little bit of water. It's quite uncomfortable, and you think there might be some sort of spore residue. It's like gathering all over the top of the water.
Okay.
yeah,
And
like a brownish
a little
foam
bit
or
much.
something.
And
I'm going to grab all my things quickly and anything that might have fallen off the float, grab it and hold it together. And so it's just run off crying in shame.
and she now probably the most crushing thing is she almost seems like she says you may proceed, and suddenly you feel that it's not about you.
Harsh.
Yeah, and you splash down the water a little way, and now
Not all
Dalma,
bites the
Don't look
dust.
at me! Don't look at me!
you actually experience a lot of that through this empathic link, and you sense her own patience and then boredom with Sonabend. And she then gestures to you and she says, what brought you to this place?
This is. I am one of the chosen ones. I'm not the only one, but I'm one of the chosen ones.
Hmm.
And my destiny is to reach this Golana place. It's my destiny, and I therefore ask you kindly for permission to cross this creek and get to this place.
All right. So, if something were to manifest out of your past that you would need to challenge, how would you want to approach that? Would it be strength or agility or mind?
I think it should be mind, actually.
All right then. Yes. And for you, you find emptiness. This is the strangest, and like the other two had these very busy experiences with all sorts of swirling mist and whatnot, and flashes of activity, and you saw them reacting. And for you, it's just cold emptiness. It's almost as if the mists just grow still.
Yeah.
It's just you and her, and you have this sense of just you're thinking about the density of the mist and all of this. So make your roll, please.
That's 17 plus
All
3
right.
modifier, 20 then.
Then her eyes light up warmly, and she says, "You may proceed." And she gestures down the stream.
Such grace.
Uh,
Make us look bad.
okay. Now I'm going to give you each let's say, another 3 points of wonder for this strange and mystical passage that you've each encountered.
Okay.
And
so we now have 8 there.
okay, now Shattuck, you go through the unseen door first, and there is basically you're walking along this very foggy in this creek, and then suddenly there's this you realize you get a sense of like pushing through curtains, and there's a rushing in your ear, and you almost feel the pressure change around you. The air, just the quality of the air.
I just push forward.
And then you step through and you realize you're in exactly the same place you were, but all of the fog has gone. The sky is crystal clear, and
Oh.
the everything seems brighter, almost intensely hyper real, if I may say so.
Like HDR quality. Like, yeah.
and there you
Like
see
HDR quality. Do I see them? Sorry, do I see them still here? I'm back at the creek in a way.
a
Do I still
moment
see
later.
these two?
A moment later, no, you turn back and they are not there. And then a moment later, Sonnabend comes through, like just clutching all of her things, looking like she's just really upset with a look of anguish on her face. And you yourself probably have tears still running down your eyes.
I'm trying to steel myself, and I'm basically just pushing through here. And when I see Sonoban appear, I'm like, "Oh, not you as well! What did she do to you? We need to get out of this."
If Domal is coming through as well, maybe he finds Shattuck and Zonab
No, we lost him. Don't worry
just
about it.
now crying.
You could tell me what.
There.
You are pretty traumatized. Losing 6 points of mind in one go is it's a pretty devastating blow.
Okay. I'm actually quite apathetic now. I'll retract that previous roleplay. So I'm just passive, just staring 1,000 yards there.
And
pretty much.
Dalmal, you step through, and you see the two of them, sort of dawdling. But you get this sense of this hyper real, like if the world is in slight blurriness that you were in before, everything is now in HD. It seems all of your senses have become that much sharper, and you realize it's almost as if a veil lifts and you see the path, rather where it was all forking and going back and forth. You see with utter clarity there's the path just moves forward, and leads to the base of this gigantic mountain. And the weird thing about it, at the crown of the mountain, there's something shimmering, almost like a halo. But the crazy thing, the wondrous thing, I should say, about this is that the mountain is mirrored so that another mountain seems to project down from the heavens so that its point meets the same spot. And you realize that this, whatever this shimmering field of light is a city, perhaps, this garden of light that is Golana, sometimes called Elysium, sometimes called Shangri-La. Many cultures have a name for this place, and this seems like it is where you need to be going. And now the path seems very straightforward. And, the sky, the rest of everything is wreathed in mist and fog above, but you see basically this almost hourglass shape of this pyramid of the mountain and then another pyramid projecting down. And so at this point,
that's awesome.
Your pilgrimage is going. I will throw you at this point 10 points of wonder because this is probably the most majestic thing any of you have ever seen.
Yeah.
18 points now.
18 points to spend.
That's awesome.
With just a few minutes of game time left. So, what kind of wondrous actions can we quickly?
Just blast it all.
Let's push fate.
We found.
Let's manifest memory and manifest like a carriage to take us the last bit of the way.
Yes, and you realize too that you have lost.
That's cheating. I've been telling you.
Yeah, you realize you've lost Brother Sogal. He did not proceed with you. He is back and gone.
Can't get the staff.
All right. Now
he did his job. He did his job.
The one thing that you see before you, though, on the road, and like I said, it's strange because before you were in these sort of mountainous foothills and now it's all dropped away. You see what looks like a clearing up ahead with a large marble slab instead of rough ground. And on that sit three very high backed chairs with high legs, and there are three figures sitting upon those. And as you take a look at them, you get the disquieting idea that they are incredibly familiar looking to you.
Oh no.
And you feel that, yes, indeed, you recognize that these are in fact yourselves. What manner of challenge do you need to finally pass to reach the Garden of Light, to achieve enlightenment? And what will you seek there? I guess that is a question for another day. It will be answered.
I just have one question about him. do they all have goatees?
I will let you, if you want to spend some wonder and decide
They
that they
all
all have goatees.
We're
They're the
so
evil
close
versions.
to Glorantha here.
Glorantha. Ooh.
Laura?
All right. So
No, but
the similarity of the name did not escape me, but there's a reason for the name, so I can explain too if you guys want a little bit of wrap up. But I think I'll draw do an ellipse at the end or draw the curtain on the adventure. As Frank said, it should be just a couple of encounters, something lightweight, and so I hope you enjoyed things. And
Very much.
that was super fun.
okay, yeah. Now I am quite open with my sources. This was sort of a rampant plagiarism of Alejandro Jodorowsky's The Holy Mountain, only going to the original source, a book called Mount Analog. And so Golana is analog spelled backwards. That's how clever I am. And so, anyway, but anyway,
Okay.
yeah, and all the
So
characters.
it wasn't a play on words on the
No,
famous
no,
world
it
of
was
Durall.
literally spelling analog backwards.
Right.
And so, anyway, though, thanks for having me over for this, over online for this adventure, Frank. I hope I
No,
didn't
thank you
crash.
very much for running.
All right. I hope I didn't crash your vehicle.
I think it was very fun. And it was also fun that pretty much every roll that I made failed. So that's really on brand.
Remarkable. The cunning general manages to fail the perception check to see an ambush.
I'm a
It
failed
was awesome, though.
warlord.
All right. I was
Why not just
expecting a
keep
little
at
more.
it?
I was expecting a little more fighting, but utterly disintegrating, one guy in the first shot kind of took the fear, or put the fear into them, took the fight out of them.
Yeah, it can really go either way.
Yeah, it was great fun. I really like this
Yeah,
game.
very.
It's very good.
Okay. Frank?
Yeah, it's really good. And it also took me a bit of surprise, Frank, that you had a plasma gun all of a sudden. I didn't realize that.
The ray emitter is one of the sort of things that one of the powers you can take as an ultranaut. So yeah, it's quite good fun. And
Cool.
Jason gave me the improved ray emitter as well. So
Those were in the basic template, so
yeah, fair enough.
buying.
Got to use them.
You can begin with a really badass ray gun right out of the start. So,
I also had a pretty badass spell, but didn't get to use that. So
yeah. All right.
hey, next time.
Okay, cool. All right, well,
No.
enjoy the rest of your UK Gamers Expo. And Frank, if you need to do any, last minute pitching or any, dot.
No, I just want to say thank you to you all for joining in this. This is the first of 3 that we're doing over this weekend. We have a variety of people on, and it should all be fun. Yeah, and if you wanna find out more and talk to us, we're here on our virtual stall all weekend as well. If you go into the UK Games Expo website, you can go through the exhibitor hall, and eventually, if you scroll long enough, you might see Motocross Machinations. or just go to our website, motocross.com, and you'll probably find it there a little quicker. But yeah,
Cool.
thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Okay.
I'm going to.
Do you need us to stay on for some period while some video thing happens, or?
Yeah, I'm going to very smoothly switch over the end screen, which I completely prepared and wasn't the wrong size at all.
Okay.
So, folks watching.